There we go. Is that on now? Thanks. That would have been delightful. Yeah, there's a little bit of delay, and it's funny because and let me know if you can hear me as well too, just to make sure that it is coming through. um, but So this is not my normal streaming software that I use or recording software or anything like that. The reason behind that, kind of get into here in a minute. Um, but Yeah, let me know if you can hear it. There's a few people saying check the mic. But again, it's because okay, cool, it's clear now. It's because it's different software. It's like it doesn't work exactly the same. There's It's kind of redundant as far as the muting and things like that, and I think it just didn't unmute my microphone. So whatever, it's all good. We're unmuted now, so we should be good to go. But let me also do this. Let's see. So one of the, you know, like I was saying before, kind of one of the reasons why I wanted to do this is because this gives me a chance to interact with you, give you some kind of direct feedback, and talk about mentorship things or career questions, things like that. Things that I'm already doing through Cyber Training Pro, as well as through my content and through all my platforms and everything like that. And this just gives us a way to do it directly. Now, one thing that I also, one of the reasons why I also wanted to do it this way and not using my typical software is because I can actually allow people to hop on, kind of like a call-in show. And so that's one of the reasons why I want to do it this way. Now, my plan is if this goes well and people like doing this, then we'll keep doing it at least monthly. It all depends, right, with the kind of content that I make and everything like that. But yeah, really just kind of see how it goes. And with that being said, the plan too is that the live will be available to anybody that's on here. So you can hop on, doesn't matter. You just go on the YouTube channel and you can see it. But the recording of the stream will be, it'll be available to Cyber Squad members on the YouTube channel. So you can join on there or on cybertrainingpro.com as well. Certain students, depending on what you sign up for on there, will have access to the recording as well. So things like our Zero to Cyber Pro program, our GRC Rockstar, All Access Pass, and VIP package as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the chat here the link, and feel free to join if you want to come on, ask some questions live. Again, this is kind of an interactive show situation, and you can definitely do that. Cameras are not mandatory, but obviously audio is if you're gonna jump on. But also, I'd love for you to turn on your camera and say hey. So I'll go ahead and put that in the chat there. So if you do want to hop on, again, feel free to do it. Would love to see you throw your camera on as well, but you can ask audio questions as well. So let's go ahead, and I see we're already starting to get some questions here. So, and you don't have to hop on as well. You can just ask them in text, and we'll just go through them basically in order as well. So throw this one up here. So hello, John. I'm currently 34 and a commercial driver. What's the route you'd recommend for changing my career path to cybersecurity? So this is an interesting question. And just in general, to give you some context about cybersecurity, there's a ton of people that are trying to get into cybersecurity, coming from all kinds of different backgrounds. We have obviously commercial truck driver. I came from a sales background, so I also was a career changer. There are people switching over from IT, which is a little bit obviously closer related, and all these different career fields, as well as people that are brand new to the workforce. So, but commercial driver looking for the route to switch into cybersecurity. So the first thing that I would say for sure is check out the description. There's a link to my Getting Started page. And on there, you'll find my free ebook that you can get, because the reason why I tell people to get that is it does have a roadmap that's already laid out for you. It has a whole bunch of information in there, not just the roadmap, but it has skills, certifications, things like that that you need to pursue, what type of degrees are out there, if you're looking for a computer, what do you need? All of those things are all in that ebook. So it's a tremendously valuable resource for anybody trying to get into cybersecurity, or if you just want to figure out how to kind of quickly advance your career. It's a great starting point because it has so much information in there. So that's the first thing that I would start with. At kind of a high level, you basically are going to have to get operating system knowledge, networking knowledge. I always tell people to get cloud knowledge as well. And then there's some other things, again, that are in my ebook that will kind of guide you through that. But you need a solid foundation of just knowledge and skills. And that is why I created that roadmap, because it will help you along the way. It gives you a set path of what you need to follow and how you'll actually get there. So hopefully that helps out. All right, let's see here. And so we had somebody join, but somebody dropped off, so that's fine. One thing that I'll also say too, and this is kind of an incentive to join the show, if you join the show, so if you use the link that I pinned in the chat and you hop on here and you want to ask a question, you will get priority. So you'll get priority over the people that are in chat. So keep that in mind. So, all right, let's see here. And obviously, if there's no questions at some point, then I'll just sit on here and hang out and eventually get off, but get off the stream. But there we go. Let's see. Please guide me how I can start a cybersecurity YouTube channel. So there is a ton of information out there about how to start a YouTube channel. I am not, I did not create the channel to specifically give people advice on how to create channels. But the first thing that I would say is just go on YouTube and start researching. Start looking for videos on how to create a YouTube channel, content, research who all is out there making content about it, but also just understand why you want to do it. YouTube is a lot of work, and people don't always understand that, or they just don't understand that. They see YouTube, they see people making a lot of videos, getting a lot of subs, and they think it just kind of happens. It takes a tremendous amount of work. It's by far one of the most labor-intensive platforms that you could create content on, for sure. So definitely just start getting out there and start watching videos. There's so much information about there on how to start it. All right, we got somebody that joined here. Let's throw you in here. Hey, how's it going? And you jumped off. I'm not sure what happened there. Let's see. Oh, okay, there we go. You jump back on. Hey, Struggle Security. Thank you. That's awesome. I'm glad to have you here for sure. Definitely, if you want to hop on the channel, Gabe, go ahead. But also too, I feel like it's been a while since we've talked, so we'll have to catch up for sure. I'm trying to remember how long ago I was on your channel. It's been a hot minute. All right, let me bring you back in here. Let's see if this works. Hey, can you hear me? Hey, you there? Hello. You might be on mute like I was. All right, well, I'm gonna take you out. But if you get your mic situation working, let me know in the chat, and I can just re-add you into here. So that's the other thing too. It's like if we get a bunch of people that are joining that that want to hang out on the stream, want to chat about cybersecurity or related things. Let's say I don't want people to get on here talking about completely random things, but if you want to hop on here and hang out, that's cool. And then if we get people that want to ask more questions and it's full, because there is a limit on how many people can join, which is kind of unfortunate. I thought about doing this a few different ways, including doing it on Zoom, but it's just not. It's not as good. It's not as good of an experience to do it on Zoom. So it's kind of how we ended up on this platform, but. It's how it goes. It's how it goes. Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, the plan is if people really enjoy this, then I want to keep doing it. It's very challenging to get people a lot of the advice they need, especially because everybody's situation is different. Obviously, I do offer things like coaching and some of those other things and training courses, but this is just another way to really get information out there and help people and get them what they need. We need people in cybersecurity. We need people that are qualified, that are breaking down those doors, that are overcoming obstacles and challenges to get in the career field. And in a lot of cases, it's very difficult to do it yourself, especially if you're brand new to the industry or the career field. Then you might not necessarily know what needs to happen, what's required, how people think that are in the career field, and maybe why you're not having success. So all those things are definitely things that you just, it's good to have a mentor. It's good to have a coach, somebody that can help you get through those different situations. Absolutely. Amazon Gadgets. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Let's see, kids have taken over your life. I'll have to hop on the next one. Nonetheless, yes, we do have to catch up. Yeah, totally get it, right? Life gets in the way. Life has all kinds of things we have to take care of and different situations, and everybody's life is different. That's the crazy thing. We don't all live the same life. We have different, make different decisions. We do different things. We have different jobs. There's all these different things, and we gotta take it one day at a time. But definitely we'll catch up, and yeah, we'll definitely have to chat it up, because like I said, it's been a while. I really don't even remember when I was on your channel. I know it's been a long time. So, but good to see you either way. So again, just a reminder for those who are just joining, in the chat you'll see a link to the show. So if you want to hop on and ask questions, throw your camera on, ask them audio version, then that'd be awesome. We can hang out. If you just want to ask them in the chat, that's cool too. But the whole purpose of this is to be interactive and answer your questions. Again, the replay of this, or the live, is available to anybody that wants to watch it. So you go on the YouTube channel, John Good Cyber, you're going to watch it there. And then once it ends, it's going to go to members only on YouTube, as well as on Cyber Training Pro. Again, for the people that have the eligible packages, All Access Pass, GRC Rockstar, Zero to Cyber Pro, and the VIP package, as well as the career services stuff. So let's see. All right, got some more questions coming in. Cool. Or more comments, rather. Wesley says, thanks for the content you provide us. I started studying cybersecurity late summer last year. I've got 3 certs this year. ISC squared CC, or I guess now they're going by ISC2, but CC, Microsoft Azure Fundamentals, or Azure Fundamentals, however you want to say it. I don't care. There's going to be people that will they will get so angry if you pronounce something wrong. Just like when I call CompTIA CompTIA. Who's seen that? Who's seen me call CompTIA CompTIA? That's a good one. That's gotten me so much attention. And on and it's intentional, by the way. So, uh, I started studying cybersecurity, Azure fundamentals, and on November 30th, I got the Security Plus. Yeah, those are great start, great way to start learning what you need to know and kind of evolving your skills. That's what this career field is all about. It's all about evolving what you know, what you're capable of, and what you bring to the table. And I got somebody that joined on here. Give me 1 second, I'll add you. I don't know what else to do to land a job. I apply to several daily and I cannot get interviews. I live in Portugal, and of course, the market here in Europe is in general is not as hot as in the US. But everyone needs cybersecurity, but it seems impossible to land an entry-level job. My money is finishing, but I don't want to go back to non-qualified jobs. Well, I don't know what you mean by non-qualified jobs. Do you mean jobs like IT or something like that, or like completely out of the tech field? One of the things that I'll say is with applications and applying to jobs and getting interviews, if you are not getting interviews and you're applying to a healthy amount of jobs, so let's say 50 jobs, 100 jobs, maybe something like that, I would really say, especially once you get to like 100 jobs and you haven't had any interviews or very few, usually it comes down to a few things. Either you don't have the skills or the knowledge that they're asking for. You can see in the job posting, what are they asking for? Do I have those things? Am I capable of doing those things? Do I have some experience, hopefully, that is connected to that, or certifications that is connected to that? Do I have any of that? So that's one thing, because if you don't have that and they need that, then obviously that's an issue. The other thing a lot of times that I see is people's resume does either again, they don't have that information, they don't explain that they have that information, or they don't do it very well. So you have to sell yourself in your resume, or your resume just has issues, has formatting issues, spelling issues, grammar issues. It's just very difficult to read. The formatting is not a good format. Those are all things that are very, very common. And if you have any of those can hold you back. Those can be major, major issues that will not even get you to the interview phase. Because if you're getting interviews, then that's a good sign. No interviews means that there's something lacking. You're not quite there where you're attractive enough, or you're doing something that is detracting that employer from calling you. So you have to look at those things and look at those things first, because typically it's like almost always one of those things. That could be fairly broad, right? It could be all of those things. Could be just one of those things. Could be multiple. But you have to look at those things first, because it's you. Like, if you have the experience and you're not doing those things, you're not showing it, you're not selling yourself, your resume has issues, it doesn't matter. Like, you're just probably not going to get a call because you haven't done those prerequisite things to satisfy that application, to satisfy that initial review of what you bring to the table. So look at those things first for sure. All right, so let me pull that down. I'll add Adam in here who's joined. Hey Adam, how's it going? You might be on mute if you are
Hi,
talking. Hey,
can you
there
hear
we
me
go.
out? How are you?
How's it going? Good.
That's good.
Make sure my speakers are off here. So, you have questions about cybersecurity or what?
Oh, no, I'm just in here to pick up on anything I can learn. I'm almost
Awesome. Yeah.
finished. Yeah, I've almost finished a certificate 4 in cybersecurity, but I don't have an IT background, so it's been a big, steep learning curve.
Awesome. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, definitely. Again, this is meant to hang out, so feel
Yes,
free to hang out.
thank you.
Let's see here. Let me pull up some more of these questions. And yeah, if you think of questions, as we go to, feel free to ask them away, right? So let's see here. Pull up this next one. All right. I learned cybersecurity. So which one do you need to learn first, system operation or networking? So typically, uh, it's not going to make a huge deal one way or another, right? There's not, you have to learn networking first, you have to learn operating systems first. I tend to recommend learning networking first because a lot of what we do is based on networking and how systems interact with each other and how networks work kind of at their core. But you don't have to do that way. You could start learning operating systems first. A lot of times, though, what I find is that operating systems are more it's more effective to learn them kind of as you're going because you're going to be using operating systems the whole time. It's not like you're just going to completely stop using an operating system and only focus on networking. When you look at something like the CompTIA Network Plus as an example, it's a networking certification. There are tools in there that require an operating system. You run them either, for instance, on the Windows command line, the Linux command line, Mac command line, whatever, or you can run them in actual networking gear, so switches and routers, things like that from Cisco or from Juniper, these different vendors. So it's all kind of interrelated. Now, with it being said, with the operating system landscape it's kind of changed a little bit. Let's say about 10 years ago or so, the MCSE, MCSA, that track for the Microsoft operating system used to be like the major thing that people would go for because they had it in Windows 7. They had it in like the client operating systems. They had it in Microsoft Server. And so you could get that and you could understand the operating system. And that was a good path if you want to kind of start that way. They've kind of gone away from that and gone more into the cloud stuff, the cloud services that they offer and the environment. So you're not necessarily getting that same kind of focus on the operating systems. There's still a lot of information out there, still a lot of training and things like that. It's just different. So it's more of thinking about it at the same time and kind of learning as you need more and more and more. Now, that's the most effective path that I found. Again, it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily do that, but that's the path that I tend to recommend first, because honestly too, with networking, there is some technical things about networking that you'll learn or that you'll need to know, but honestly, like there's when you get that foundational level, there's not it's not like you have to in a lot of cases go through a lot of like switches or like configuration options and things like that, especially if you just stick to something like the Network Plus. If you start going like the CCNA route, you're going to go deeper and it's going to be definitely more complex. But again, operating systems are things that you're using all the time, so it's almost kind of like learn networks, learn operating systems as you go, and then after that kind of refine and go deeper into operating systems, just so you have that solid foundation and you've gone a little bit further even. Because there's gonna be a lot of things that you're just gonna have to learn over time, things like group policies and how to secure Windows systems, and like those can get very advanced on how you do those things. In cybersecurity for networking, you don't necessarily have to go as deep. In a lot of cases, there's always situations where that may not be the case, but that's the path that I would do. All right, restaurants, cleaning jobs, and this kind of stuff. Gotcha. Okay, so the non-qualified jobs. Yeah, I mean, so like kind of going back to that too, it's like with jobs, one of the things that I always tell people is you should apply to any entry level IT job, cybersecurity job, and help desk job, assuming that you don't have some like significant restriction on something like income. For instance, if you're switching from another career field, sometimes people have like they need to make a certain amount, and sometimes those very entry level help desk jobs, for example, it's not gonna fill that requirement. Now, with that being said, it's all situationally dependent, right? Like if you're unemployed and you still have that requirement, well, you just got to make money somehow. And a lot of those jobs too, the help desk kind of jobs or entry level IT jobs, things like that, you can always go to those and work them, for a little bit, and then try to pivot or find a higher level job as you're progressing your skills, but you're still gaining experience at the same time. That's the key. It's once you're gaining that experience, then you're going to start to find that it becomes easier to kind of maneuver and get jobs, get interviews, things like that. The hardest job to get is always the first job, whether that's, getting your first job in tech, period, or getting your first cybersecurity job, trying to get into the career field. The first job is always the most challenging because once you start to get that related experience, that's what's going to help catapult you into those future positions. It's going to make you more attractive because you've already been working in the career field and you've shown that you have the ability to do a certain kind of job. And it's just you're going to meet more people that are in that career field, and it kind of snowballs, if that makes sense. So that's why when you look at for instance, certifications that require experience, like the CISSP or something like that, it is a little bit about the certification, but the real value is that experience, because you can't just get a certification and say, hey, I have the equivalent of somebody with X years of experience. It just doesn't work that way. It's like, think about if there's some kind of like random situation that you may face. If you've been in that situation before because you have experience, that becomes more valuable because you kind of know what to do. Think about like when you're in an unfamiliar situation in life, you might get stressed out. You might panic. Those are all things that are natural and that happen. But as you get experience, as you face that situation before, you think to yourself, hey, I've seen this situation before or something like it. So now, and I have that experience and I can, leverage that. So that's why you see everybody kind of emphasizing experience, especially in a very stressful kind of job. Experience helps. And that's why it's important that you just start getting experience. I always tell people that, they're trying to get in the career field, that especially when they're applying to a whole bunch of jobs and they're not getting anything, you don't want to just try to wait around for kind of a miracle opportunity, and that's in quotes. My camera's kind of cutting off a little bit, but you just got to get the experience. So whether that's starting in help desk, starting in IT, whatever. I could talk for hours about jobs and how that whole thing works. It's really a fairly complex and complex situation that you have to be strategic about. But getting experience is just, you just got to get out there and get experience. You can only get so far in the labs. And so if you can get that experience and still do the labs and everything like that and certifications and stuff, then you're building multiple aspects of your professional profile, and that'll get you a lot further, a lot faster than specifically focusing on one thing. I guess unless it's experience, but even then, doing multiple things, certifications, experience, all that stuff is helpful. So I know kind of a rant, but it's important to understand that because I see people commenting and talking about that all the time. And it's a story that comes up very often. So all right. Hi, I'm trying to make my way into cybersecurity. I'm starting with Google Cyber course, although it's dry. I just want to get the discount for Security Plus. What should be my next steps? So I said this earlier on to her question. I don't remember whose it was, but one of the first things that I always tell people is go to the link in my description of my Getting Started page and grab my free ebook. that gives you a literal roadmap of what you should be getting and what you should be pursuing as far as certifications, skills, things about degrees versus certifications, if you need to get a computer for cybersecurity, all these different things that are very relevant to your situation. So I would definitely go grab that, because getting the Google cybersecurity certification, or certificate rather, and then even if you did that and then you get the Security Plus, you're going to have gaps in your knowledge. Those two alone will not give you everything you need. They won't resolve all the issues. Really, no certification on its own is going to give you everything that you need. But especially because there are two cybersecurity focused certifications, and that's like purely what they focus on, you're going to have fundamental gaps. It's not just gaps, it's fundamental gaps. And one of the problems that we see when people go directly to cybersecurity is there is not a lot of times, if they just go to like the Security Plus or something, they don't take a good ramp up to prepare themselves for after that point, right? It's kind of like if you're going, I'm trying to think of a good analogy. Like if you're going up stairs, but you want to skip like 5 steps, but you needed those other steps in order to get to the next 10 steps or whatever. Probably a bad analogy, but but you're basically trying to, and maybe not intentionally, right? This happens all the time. I went for the Security Plus first, and I learned quickly that I had some gaps in my knowledge that had to be addressed like as soon as possible. But that's really what's happening, is you're skipping ahead. It's like, I don't know, if you like learned algebra but somehow didn't learn like addition and subtraction or something. I don't know. There's all these bad analogies that I'm probably making, but you're trying to skip ahead of steps that you literally need to understand the things that you might learn in the Security Plus, and definitely that you'll need for the future and for more advanced certifications and more advanced jobs. So you miss out on a ton by just doing the Google Cybersecurity Cert, which, full disclosure, I'm not a huge fan of. I have videos and content out there about it and why I don't like it, and the gaps that I think that it presents and what they've created and what they've published. But it's not one of those things that's like gonna stop your career completely. But go back and watch those videos if you're interested in what my opinion is of it. But again, Google Cybersecurity certificate and the Security Plus is not going to be enough. There's going to be gaps you're going to have to do. You're not going to learn enough about networking. You're not going to learn enough about operating systems. Those are two core fundamental things that you have to understand. And that's why I always direct people to my roadmap, because in my free book, because that will give you the path that you can pursue, that you can follow, and that will give you a very good foundation. And when you're looking at that, really, something like the Google Cybersecurity Certificate would be like maybe at the very beginning. It definitely won't be into the first couple steps. It'd be like before the roadmap, because it's just not going to do enough for you. But it's important to understand that, because a lot of people are going for that certificate, and for various reasons, like to get the discount on Security Plus, which is fine. I'm not going to tell you don't save money, but you have to understand that just because you're getting that discount and you're going to try to get the Security Plus as an example, that doesn't mean that path is going to fulfill what you need, at least not fully. So go check out that roadmap. It'll give you a lot more information about what you need to do, and it will give you more insight on how you should be progressing over time. All right. And if you're just joining, or you've just joined recently to the stream, there is a link in the description, or in the chat rather. So if you want to join the stream, you want to ask questions, Yep. Uh, if you want to join the stream, you want to ask questions, throw your video on, hang out. Right now it's me and Adam in here, but you can definitely do that. And also, if you ask questions in the stream, so you join the live, then your questions will actually get priority over the ones in the chat. Of course, you can always ask the questions in the chat, but depending on what you're interested in doing and how you're interested in asking the questions. All right, let's see here. Okay, go. All right, let's throw this next one up here. I'd be willing to start at help desk, but the ones I have come across are asking tons of hard technical skills. Yeah, I mean, that it's hard to know without knowing specifically the ones that you're talking about, but without knowing more, it could mean that there's a deficiency in some of your skill sets. Kind of like what I was saying, where there's gaps in knowledge at times. That definitely could be an issue, especially depending on the kind of job that you were trying to prepare for in cybersecurity. But one of the things with cybersecurity is the more fundamental knowledge that you have, the better off that you'll be. And that's not to say you need all the information that is like fundamentals for IT, but certainly, again, knowing operating systems, knowing networking, those kinds of things, that's really the core of what you need. I always tell people to learn cloud as well, but the benefit of doing interviews, whether you get the job or not, or looking at other kinds of jobs that are maybe a little bit different than what you're trying to get, because again, remember, it's about pivoting and trying to figure out how to go from one job to the job that you want. But what you can do is you can take that and you can actually use that to learn the information that you need or that they're asking for. That just gives you more of an idea of what they're looking for. That's one of the things that you have to do in general is you have to use your use your interview experience and those things, what you see in the job postings. You have to use that to progress your knowledge, and that will advance your career. That is a core thing that you have to do. So if you see certifications that are always being asked for, go for those. Makes sense, right? If you see skills that are always listed, go for those. You see technologies that are always listed, learn those. Right? Some of this stuff is, it may seem obvious, but there's a lot of people that aren't doing it. They're not using that information to their advantage. It's almost like, no, that would be like cheating on a test, right? And so that's obviously like not a good thing. You definitely want to use that information that they're putting out there in job postings and things to understand what they want to see, understand what they want, and then going after those things. That's how you're going to get the jobs that you want, because you understand what they're actually asking for and you went and learned those things, or you went and got experience with those things. As you, when you do interviews and you get asked questions, as an example, and you don't know the answer, you should be writing those down. You should be taking those with you. You should be researching those and finding out why you don't know those, what don't you know about them, and just filling in those gaps. The more you do it, the better you do it, the faster you do it, the quicker you're going to start to progress. That's how it goes. You have to research what you don't know and continue to learn. This is a long game where there's a lot of pieces that have to kind of fall into place over your career, but they fall into place because you're preparing, you're practicing, you're researching, you're learning, not just in the interview. You're taking what you learn in the interview, which is also kind of like being on the job, taking those situations and you're learning more information that you can then apply to that to those interviews or those questions or those situations, and then you just you continue to climb the ladder. That's all it's about. Continue to learn, continue to climb. You're welcome. Absolutely. Happy to help. Happy to help. Let's see. Hope people are enjoying this because definitely it's nice to just kind of get on here and interact with people. Like I said, it's great when people want to join the stream as well. Again, if you look in the description, you can check out the link, or in the chat rather. The link is in there where you can join the stream. You can come hang out and ask your questions on here. Love it if you throw your camera on and come in, or just have audio and we can chat if you have questions. But really, it's just time to interact and give some of the knowledge that we talk about in things like my career coaching and some of the other things that I do. That's not just the videos that you see. There's a whole bunch of stuff that I do that's going on. It's pretty crazy. YouTube game is content creation game is crazy in general, but YouTube is definitely it's definitely a lot of effort. So, and then also, how's the quality coming through? I'll have to look when I go back after the fact and see the stream. It looks good on my other screen here.
Yeah,
So,
John, looks good, mate. It's coming through really good.
awesome.
The audio
Appreciate
is really
that.
good too. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, man, it's one of those things. It's like, to create good content, or like get the audio good, get the connection good. It's like I feel like it's taken forever. Like I've had it pretty decent for a while, pretty good for a while, but like the initial setup and everything, and just figuring everything out, figuring out how to do all this stuff, is it was quite the journey. So so, but let's see here. So Adam, are you switching from another career field, or is this your first job, or?
Yeah, no, I'm late 40s. I'm actually a fitter and turner. I'm actually got, mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And then I got into being a biomedical technician, so working on electronic equipment in the hospitals.
Okay.
That got me interested in technology and electronics. And I've always liked computers, and I'm in Australia, and our government put on free courses. So the course I'm almost finished was like 11,000 AUD.
Okay.
I've got like 2 subjects to go.
Cool.
So I've had to learn a lot about IT.
Yeah.
It's been really rewarding. So I'll probably change my career, but no idea where. I'm just bolting cybersecurity onto my technology or my engineering career. Yeah.
Gotcha. So as somebody that's trying to switch into the career field, or thinking about switching in the career field, what kind of, like, are you seeing any kind of like challenges with that, or like what's your, I guess, journey been like so far?
Yeah, I haven't gauged the job market too much yet, because I've got a pretty good job as it is.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
it's going to be hard to leave my current job, I think.
Yeah.
There is opportunities. Like, I work for Queensland Health, which is one of the big. So Queensland is one of the big states in Australia, in case you don't know. I work for the state health system. So there's opportunities within that system where I could do like a secondment, maybe get some experience over in the IT department, perhaps. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Definitely. Switching like mid-career is like, it's difficult, right? Because kind of like what you said, as far as like the the pay and the benefits and kind of like what you've done so far, it's like you've kind of, rose to a certain level in that field, and you got to try to figure out kind of like where you can kind of bridge the two so it
Yeah,
doesn't feel like you're just getting hammered having to start
yeah,
back at the bottom.
yeah. You're asking very good questions. I think it would be difficult because I don't have an IT background as such. I think it'd be difficult to jump straight into cybersecurity. But
Yeah.
what I'm more focused on is just like opening up opportunities. So I love technology. So if I go for jobs in the future to do with technology, well, anything really, they're probably going to value the cybersecurity because everything from when we design things from the bottom up now, we need to design around cybersecurity.
Yeah.
So I probably won't go straight into a cybersecurity job as such, but the opportunities that would open up, I can just see a lot of opportunities because I've already said it. I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, 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 for sure. I mean, and there's all different kinds of, roles, right? Like there's less technical, or sometimes people will say like non-technical kind of roles, like GRC, and then there's like the uber technical roles, like the security operations center, reverse engineers, and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
kind of that whole gambit.
It's massive, isn't it? It's massive.
Yeah,
So with my mechanical background, I could get into robotics, or maybe a company wants me to work on something that's mechanical, but it's driven by software. So
yeah,
therefore, my understanding of cybersecurity, yeah, that's my vision because I've probably still got like 15 years of work ahead of me, still probably.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, plenty of time.
yeah, plenty of time. That's right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's, definitely, I'm sure, a ton of opportunities in that kind of realm. And that's one of the things too that's nice with specialized, specialized skills or knowledge that you kind of bring to the table that's like not just specifically like IT, because you understand maybe like a certain type of workflow or a certain type of manufacturing process or something, and
Yeah,
it's very difficult to get that unless you've gone through that process. And
yeah,
sometimes it's like, okay, well maybe you're lacking a little bit of this like IT knowledge or whatever, but you have this extremely valuable knowledge over here that like it would be so difficult for us to get somebody else to do that. And yeah, so it's
yeah,
like
totally.
I
Yep,
came from a sales background.
yep,
So like, I mean I guess like people skills or whatever, like talking to people and stuff
yep.
like that, kind of business acumen. But it's
Which is
not like
important.
it is important. Um, but it's like, there's a lot of people that work in sales and do that kind of stuff. So it's like it's not like it it's valuable, but it's not like specialized. So it's like a little bit maybe more challenging, right? To
Yeah.
sell that.
Yes, that's true. Yep. I'm probably looking for a company that want to invest in me. They want to train me, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, based on my experience, like you were saying. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and that's that's really the interesting kind of thing that we find ourselves in this career field, is that a lot of especially like traditionally, I'll say, a lot of companies, we'll refer to the company level, but have been kind of under the impression that they don't necessarily need to develop talent. They can bring people in and with existing skills, pre-existing skills, and kind of they can just evolve in that role, but they're already kind of coming in with a certain level of ability. But we need so many people. There's so much need. There's all these different compliance standards that are coming out. There's all these different aspects of securing an organization and technologies and all these different things that have to happen. It's like companies are seeing this, that that is no longer a viable kind of scapegoat or like uh, responsibility that they can just kind of pass off.
Yeah.
Some of the onus is going to be on these companies to bring people in that maybe are not, where they would like them to be,
Yeah.
but they just need to invest a little bit or kind of go through those growing pains with those people and grow their staff really.
Yeah, well, I guess if you can't get the perfect staff member, you have to compensate. Don't you? You have to, yeah,
Yeah, and they're finding on the other end of the spectrum too. It's like the people that do have the skills are smart too, because they're
yeah,
like, all right, well, you need our skills, you really want it, so let's pay up.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. I'm lucky. I've got one friend who's pretty high up in Fortinet.
Okay, yeah,
So
yeah,
he lives in Brisbane, in Australia, where I live. So I haven't asked him yet, but when I finish my course, I might ask him for some work experience. See if I can get some couple of weeks work. That'd be good.
yeah.
Um,
Referrals are huge. Like if you can
yeah.
have somebody that can help you out in any way, or get you into the system in a company. I
Yep.
mean, one of the things I think people don't always um, think about or understand is that, yeah, like everybody kind of gets into the same application pool, but it's almost like if you have a referral, you have like a little asterisk by your application that says, hey, this should probably be a priority application that we review. It's like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. That's true. I remember when I finished my advanced diploma a long time ago. I got offered a job that I didn't really want.
yeah,
But I said to the recruiter, I said, "Oh, you should check out my colleague here because he's a star. Like he's going to be a good catch."
yeah,
And they did, and they employed him.
yeah,
So
yeah.
just like that, yeah,
Yeah, it's like it's kind of this inherited trust idea. It's like
yeah,
they have an employee they trust. This person is vouching for this other person, so we're
yep,
interested in that other person a little bit more than an unknown.
yep,
So it's yeah, it's I always tell people it's like getting jobs, getting hired, advancing your career is not just about what you know. It is a very
yep,
strategic thing that the better you can do, the better off you'll be for sure.
yeah. I think people should put more thought into the actual interview as well. Like you can practice how to be good at interviews
Yeah.
because I've noticed. I've noticed once I get an interview, I seem to do really well getting jobs. And I don't know whether it's my bubbly personality that they like or what, but I think getting your foot in the door, even just for an interview, really matters a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And put this question up here too, because it's kind of related to what we're talking about. But Mohammed says the job market in cybersecurity has been kind of rough. What do you think? Will it get better? And again, this is kind of related to what we're talking about. We see kind of these ebbs and flows um, of the job market, where sometimes it's good, sometimes it's very competitive, and I mean, I would say that a couple years ago when we were talking about this, especially, um, you know, companies were hiring like crazy, and then we saw what was that last year, or the last couple of years, we've started to see a decent amount of layoffs because it's kind of, in a sense, they kind of overhired in some cases, especially like the major tech companies. But that's kind of a function of how those companies work. But there's still, quite a bit of opportunity out there. And one of the things that I'll say, especially with just the job market in general, I would say that, in some cases it's gotten a little bit more competitive, but it also requires you to be more strategic. One of the things, again, and I said this before, that people don't always do or pay attention to is what's in job postings. What are employers actually asking for in these job postings? Don't like don't just take Google's word for it because they say, hey, this is what you should get or this is what you should study. Look at what they're actually asking for in job postings. That's how I've gotten, really all of my jobs, is because I go and I look and I keep my eyes on what's being put out there in job postings to understand what they actually want. Sometimes you can go for things that are nice to learn or nice to gain, like certifications or skill sets or whatever it is, but you have to understand that if an employer doesn't want that or they're not asking for it, they may not value that very much. And if they don't value it, it may not be that helpful in your job search. It may not make you stand out. If you go for the things that they're asking for, at least as a primary kind of objective, that is like the core of what you should be doing when you're looking for jobs. Is what are they asking for? Because it's literally like if you're given a set of instructions and you just don't follow them, like you're not going to get probably the end product that you actually need to create or whatever. It's the same kind of thing. You're given the answers to the test and you're not doing it. So it's like that is a huge issue that I see all the time with people that are not only just trying to get in the career field, but they're even in the career field. They're kind of, they're so in their head about what they want to get or learn, except they want this very specific kind of job, and maybe that has nothing to do with what they're trying to learn. So it's an interesting kind of scenario for sure. Let's see what else we got here. Companies now just want to hire specialists outright rather than training them up, in my opinion. If they have the budget to train people, they would rather hire a senior, I think. It depends, right? It depends on the company, it depends on the team, and it's one of those things where companies only have so much money. They can only do so much. They can only hire so many people. In cybersecurity and IT, those career fields are naturally just meant to run lean, which means that, you may need 10 people. You may only have 8 people, as an example, because the idea of technology is to automate, to make things more efficient, to make things more effective. And companies, especially in those kind of roles, those supporting roles, they would rather run those a little bit leaner, because then when it comes to things like layoffs or economic downturns or anything like that, if they're already running that team a little bit leaner, they don't necessarily have to go in and cut people from their core services that they have to provide. And it's different than something like a sales job or something like that, right? Like a lot of companies, will hire a bunch of sales reps because those sales reps are going to bring in money, and then if money's not coming in, they'll just go through and cut them because it's just they don't need them, right? Or they're not performing or whatever it is. It's very different in the support kind of organization. So the IT jobs, the cybersecurity jobs, those kind of things. But certainly there are companies that are not willing to train people, and that's unfortunate. They're not willing to give people training budgets. There are other companies that are willing to give a lot of training budget, but sometimes it just comes down to the team, the organization, whoever the leader is. There's a lot of factors that come into play there, but you can find that out when you interview, or sometimes they will put it in the job description. But that's always a question that I'll ask too when I go into interviews is, hey, what kind of training opportunities exist, or professional development opportunities exist for people on the team? Let's see, a couple more here. Seen a lot of cyber professionals moving towards more temporary roles that last 6 months rather than full time. Is this a change in the market? Not really. I mean, in IT, there's always been kind of these contract workers, and that's just something that exists. There's pros and cons to both. With contract working, you can work on different kinds of projects or responsibilities, jobs, things like that. So you can kind of get a lot of different experiences. A lot of times you don't have the same kind of stability as a normal full-time job, but you'll get to experience different things. It's also kind of more the consulting lifestyle, which definitely in cybersecurity we have that a lot, especially with specialist type roles. So penetration testers or auditors, those kinds of things. Not every company needs to have those kinds of roles on staff, especially when it comes to things like compliance certifications or standards. They actually call for, in almost every case, some kind of external third party that has to do that attestation or that audit or that review, that test, whatever it is. And so why you kind of see some of those different opportunities exist. But definitely not a change in the market. Just, it's just one of the things that we deal with a lot in this career field, because there are those unique requirements or those specialist kind of requirements that, again, maybe a company just doesn't want to hire that kind of job full time. So just depends on what you like. I would recommend, if you are interested in that, try it out, see what it's like. Sometimes you can get other opportunities to do that where maybe you don't have the experience to do it full time, or there's all kinds of scenarios where it may come into play and be advantageous to do that kind of role. Thanks for your insights, John. Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, with that being said, make myself big here. With that being said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up today. It's been just over an hour that we've been on the stream, but again, I want to thank everybody for joining. Thanks to Adam. Thank you for joining as well, having a good chat. Great to talk to you. Great to meet you. And good luck on your journey. I hope everything works out. Definitely keep me updated on how things are going. And
yeah, thanks. Thanks, John. I've enjoyed the chat.
Yeah, absolutely. With that being said, sorry, go ahead.
No, that's all right. I was just going to say I'll keep an eye out for more of these in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, so looks like it's been pretty popular. So most likely I'll be doing this as at least a monthly thing. But just keep an eye out for it. And thanks to everybody else that has joined. And I'll see you next time. See you later. Are you tired of overpaying for cybersecurity training? Are you interested in training from industry professionals? Are you looking for cybersecurity career services? If you answered yes to any of those questions, then cybertrainingpro.com is the perfect platform for you. At Cybertraining Pro, we're a one-stop shop for all your cybersecurity needs. We can train you for industry certifications or just improve your overall knowledge and skills in a certain area. Unlike other platforms, we don't stop there. We can also coach you throughout your career, practice your interview skills, or create a high-performing resume with our career services. Cybertrainingpro.com isn't just another training platform. Students get exclusive access to our private community, where we go beyond training courses to provide additional content, tips and tricks, and engagement with both other students and staff. Look, by the year 2025, there could be as many as 3.5 million job openings in cybersecurity. With so much opportunity, why not maximize your career potential with a platform that cares about your success? Come join us at cybertrainingpro.com and start building your future today.